So, many people have been speaking about this Byron Allen interview on CNN. And because I've been involved, in this, media business, a lot of things I've been involved with also behind the scenes that you guys just, really, some people don't understand the business portion of it. And, what Byron is doing, even though he has, found some success in it, it's going to come with a cost. And I'm going to go through this, and just tell you my experiences in this business itself. Because media is a business. It is. If you're not doing the business portion of it, you won't last too long. We've been around for about 10 years. And the only reason we've been around that long is because we understand there is a business side to it. No matter what you do, it's economics that goes along with it, period. Certain moves, certain people you got to, bring in behind the scenes that you may not see that helps with the business. Some people you do know. So it's a lot more than just on air talent. That's for sure. But let's play through this and let's, I'm just going to respond to what Byron is saying here. A lot of people, of course, disagreed. I disagreed in a lot of things that he said here, but it's some things I do need to touch on. So let's go.
Was a small startup cable news channel that never really got off the ground ratings-wise, but was producing some great work. So let's talk about the future of that and more. Joining me now is CEO and co-founder and founder of the Allen Media Group, Byron Allen.
Well, the reason why Black News Channel never got off of the ground is because it labeled itself Black News Channel, and then it was owned by a Pakistani businessman. Okay, so immediately it sent a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths from that. It was basically Pakistani owned but Black managed. That just didn't sit well. If you're going to come out with a name like Black News Channel, it needs to be owned by Black people. So that was kind of like the first step. Then after that, it was the content they were producing. They brought Mark Lamont Shield in. You see Mark Lamont Shield anywhere, then something's going down. But let's go.
Byron, there's a lot of curiosity about what your plans are for the assets of the Black News Channel. This was a low-rated channel that had a really hard time reaching households. That's true for a lot of independent channels. So what? Well,
he took a little dig at Black News Channel and Byron Allen, but you know what? Let's be honest with you. CNN is considered low-rated. Look at the ratings of CNN. Look at the ratings of Fox News. CNN is bleeding on ratings. Bleeding. Because people don't trust them. They lie all the time. The only reason CNN looked the way it looked is because it's being supported by a lot of government subsidies. All these so-called mainstream media channels, the reason why they exist is because of government subsidies that they get. Independent companies don't get those government subsidies in the millions.
What is your plan? What's your vision for the Black News Channel's assets?
Well, first of all, Brian, it's good to see you, and thank you for having me on.
Thanks.
Listen, the Black News Channel, we have a huge opportunity there. First of all, after we bought it, we immediately, within 10 minutes of wiring the money, we changed the name from the Black News Channel to the Griot. And the Griot is West African for storyteller, historian. So we want the channel to be a lot more inclusive. I never really quite thought it was a good idea, the Black News Channel. I don't think we need the Black News Channel. I think we need a good news channel, a terrific news channel like yours. So the network's going to be a lot more inclusive.
Okay. So let's talk about that. Now, I would not want my channel to be actually CNN or follow CNN's model. Actually, if you're going to follow the model of any mainstream media platform, you follow the platform that has the most viewership and the most success. The most success and viewership is Fox News. Fox News is killing the game. Fox News, it has a model where they are very, very unapologetically right-wing. They don't deviate from that. All they host is on that. Actually, Fox News show you if you keep your messaging and you allow your main host got to keep the message. Anybody can come up on Fox News, right? No matter about a color, but they got to keep the message. Now, unless they bring them up there just to go back and forth with them, that's fine. But the majority of the content, no matter what person come on there, male, female, black, white, in between, whatever, they're going to be speaking a right-wing message, period. And it has worked for them, and that's why they're on top. Okay. Now, he said he immediately changed the name from Black News Channel to The Grill. Some people say, well, man, that's some raccoon behavior right there. Well, it's two parts to that. What I understand is doing this just for years, right? If you have the support of the community and they really, really rock with you like that, you can be called Black News Channel. You can. But if you don't have the support of the community and you have to try to get support of others, then Black News Channel, the name was just not set well with others. You understand? Let's look at Black entertainment television. I grew up watching Black entertainment television when Robert Johnson or Bob Johnson had owned it. It was very successful for a long while until, of course, they got in debt. Then Viacom bought it. Viacom bought it. They didn't change the name from Black entertainment television. You know, it was, of course, it's always been called BET, but it means Black entertainment television. Viacom never changed the name, not whatsoever. And that's a white-owned company. But see, you can be called Black entertainment television with no problems. You know, as long as it's white-owned, it's cool. White people, as long as they own it, it's good. Now, let me tell you about that word black. This is not the first time. I've heard this several times. But there was a sister recently at a major company told me something that really it offended me, but she was like, put me on game at the same time. And it kind of offended me because I hate being categorized as something that I'm not or what I'm not pushing. But we were discussing, something, with this about this major company here. For a lot of reasons, I don't want to reveal the company because I don't want to get the sister in trouble or nothing like that. But basically, the sister was telling me, and she wasn't raccooning when she told me this. And when I got upset, I didn't get upset at her. I just got upset with the situation, because that happens, right? So basically, if you're pushing black, if you're saying black a lot, black centered, black focus, black, right? Other groups can do it, but we really can't do it. And when you push black all the time, they view you as a niche platform. They view you as radical. That's how they view you, even though you're not up here telling people go get guns and do this and that and the third. You're not leading no marches or no protests. You're not telling people to storm anything. You're not telling people anything but just giving news and information to people. Sure, we're giving our opinion on it. We're like any other, person in this country having their opinion. But our, focus is, centered toward the people within our own community. Because of that, that's why it's an issue. Yes, you may say, well, they got other groups that have their focus or whatever, right? Seen people mention Telemundo. Well, Telemundo is, or you may mention Univision, right? Those two stations. That's not called the Hispanic news channel. It's not called the Mexican news channel or any other news channel. It's not called that. There's one channel I know of, CGTN, which is a China channel, right? Saying the word China is not a dirty word. You have Al Jazeera, which is owned by Qatar, the Qatari government, I think. Al Jazeera, right? That's not called the Arab news channel, so I'm just keeping it real with you in the area of business and how some of it work. And the word black is an extremely dirty word. It really is. When it comes to people in this country, you have to understand, we as black people are behind the 8 ball in this country. If our community don't fully support, what we got going on to be called black anything, then it's just not going to work for us if we depending on others. And Byron has a model of depending on others. Byron uses black people for his to get what he wants, because he was all blackety black when he was going through his lawsuit, when them folks were shutting him out. But after Byron gets what he wants, then Byron goes right back to doing the let me not cause too much waves. Let me, hey, I'm not no radical now. Come on now. Y'all need to stop this, stop that. I've been accused many times by other platforms. I'm talking about other, certain ones you would think that, hey, you can work together or whatever, as I am too radical. And I'm like, I'm a dude that wears a suit. I said, you ain't seen me with Black Lives Matter. You ain't seen me do anything. I'm just giving my opinion on the news, or everybody else, my people that work with us, giving their opinion. We just want to inform the people, and they view me as radical. A lot of people don't even fool with me like that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't. I'm in a corner by myself most of the time. And I've even accepted that. Because I'm at one point in time like, well, why this and why that? And then it just kind of came to me that your walk in life is not everybody's walk in life, and not everybody going to accept you like that. And you need to follow your path and not worry about, popularity contests and things like that. And I'm glad I've done that, because it's taken me places that I would have never been if I've been focusing on popularity contests and being affiliated with certain people. I've been told that my platform, I think is Voice of America, I think VOA, I think that's it, that I do activist journalism. But WeOn is an Indian-based channel. They do activist journalism a little bit more than I do, especially at Palki Sharma. She more hardcore than I could be a lot of times, right? She be condemning America and all that. I don't be condemning America like she do. She's laser focused, and she got a big team behind her in India doing that. I don't have that kind of setup like Palki Sharma has. Of course, they probably wouldn't want me to have that setup, because I definitely probably be more laser focused than what I am now, right? With a team of like they have over there in that network. And they work with WeOn, but they wouldn't work. But they say we're doing activist journalism. No, you just don't want to work with somebody black. And there is a black tax. So I have lost a lot of money keeping things real in what I'm doing. I know I have. It's easier to just do other, type of platforms. Now if I was up here acting like Larry Elder or whatever, oh yeah, I'd be good. Candace Owens, I'd be great. But in America, if you are a, person that speak up for your community, even if your community condemns you, for whatever the reason, because I ain't perfect, right? It doesn't matter. If you are definitely on the man side, if you are a straight-laced, heterosexual male who's not for all that alternative lifestyle, you're not for the Democrat Party like that. Now if you are a person who is, pushing LGBT, what he's, immigration, if you are putting on a dress as a black man, oh yeah, you're definitely the greatest black man ever. So I'm just kind of giving you a little background, what I have experienced. Now, how I feel about TV is that I've been turned off by it, because in America, my own community don't even support me like that. I'm talking about with TV and things like that. I have more support in the continent of Africa. And even my messaging has been more supported in the continent of Africa. So I'm like, well, shoot, you go where, God leads you. And if, hey, I've been on TV in Africa at least twice so far, then, hey, well, no, actually 3 times, 2 on Newsroom Africa and then on K24. And I wasn't even there, not even a week and a half, a lot of times. And I was already on TV. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm not about to play their game. So that's just kind of like my experiences with some of it. Like in America, like I keep saying that we're behind the 8 ball. So what Byron is doing, Byron is playing their game. And it's definitely raccooning in a lot of ways. But unfortunately, if you don't have the support of the majority of the black community where you can be really, I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, on business, you're going to be either left to not do it, or do what Byron is doing, unfortunately.
It will be far more, focused on lifestyle, entertainment, news, and sports. So by way of example, we went and did a terrific deal with the HBCUs to license more than 2,000 of their sporting events, which will also air on what is now Black News Channel, what is now the Griot, and used to be the Black News Channel. And that's important to us because that's going to help us to amplify.
Now, I don't have to take issue about the HBCU sports thing. I don't really take an issue with that. I actually, to be honest with you, I think that's good. That's good. I think that's actually a good strategy because the HBCUs are never even shown like that when it comes to being on any kind of television or even streaming services. You know what I'm saying? And don't even get me started with the HBCUs because, we even reached out to them, say, hey, why don't y'all do advertising? Why don't we do like an HBCU tour so we can get people involved and want people to come to the HBCUs or whatever? That situation behind the scenes is a mess. The way they run them things is a mess. That's why I'm so happy with Deion Sanders is doing at Jackson State.
These sporting events at the HBCUs, these historic Black colleges and universities, and to help educate these kids at those schools, because education is the key, and we have to invest a great deal more into education, paying teachers a lot more to educate our children, our greatest asset. We don't have enough intellectual capital and human resources in this country to maintain where we are and to grow and continue to thrive.
Talking about learning, what have you learned over the years in the media industry, which is, let's be frank, mostly white male-controlled media industry, all those media titans. You have been buying up properties. What have you learned over the years doing so?
We don't have enough diversity and ownership. We don't have a real democracy until people really own these assets. Women don't own these networks, and they don't control their image and their likeness and how they're produced.
No, he used the word women. That's a code word for white women, because that word women is not inclusive. It is not. And I take issue with him, and what he's about to say here in a lot of ways. But let me continue before I stop it.
Depicted. Asian people are pretty much non-existent in the media landscape in terms of how we're depicting them or even seen. A lot of the Spanish language networks are owned by people who don't even speak Spanish. And gay people don't own their networks as well as African Americans. We need to own our networks, control the narrative, control how we're produced and depicted and seen around the world. And until all of our voices are heard, then we don't really have a true democracy. So I think it's important that we have real support from corporate America. The Black News Channel failed because it didn't get subscriber fees. So by way of example, CNN collects over $1 billion a year in subscriber fees. When people pay their cable bill, $1 or $2 goes to CNN. In the case of the Black News Channel, unfortunately, it was zero. And the ad dollars for the Black News Channel equaled less than $1 million, $2 million at most on a good day. That means the chairman, the CEO of every Fortune 500 company, their personal compensation was more than all of the advertising on the Black News Channel, their personal compensation. So corporate America needs to lean in and support diversity and voices and ownership. And that means subscriber fees from the cable operators and ad dollars from corporate America. Corporate America needs to support diversity and ownership and voices.
All right. So I guarantee you, when he mentioned about Black News Channel was successful because he didn't get subscriptions. No, that was not it. Black News Channel, as I said before, had a sour taste in people's mouth when they found out it was on with the name Black News Channel. It was owned by a Pakistani businessman. It was Shahid Khan, which is the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Because they tried to push it as it's black owned, black this, black that. So it came out the gate being deceptive. Okay. So that put a sour taste in black people's mouth. Then when you went on there, it was just, it was just another mainstream media platform. That's how they ran it. But they just had the name Black on there. Okay. Then you saw Mark Lamont Shield get up there, which we always know. We see him showing up. Watch out. Charles Blow. Watch out. All of the same old, Democrat flunkies, and they start pushing all this left wing propaganda and all of that. And people just seen through that. That's all. And people just wasn't rocking with it. You know, they brought in the same old media heads, and it just, you know, like I said, I hate it for the people who did work there, who left their jobs to go work there and actually believed in what they were doing. But yeah, and now the subscription fee thing, let's talk about that. People don't have a choice. When you pay a cable bill, you don't have a choice about CNN. You don't have a choice. If the cable networks had gave people an option to say what networks you don't want on your cable bill, like they do the HBO, Cinemax, whatever. If they allowed people to select what networks, I can guarantee you CNN's revenue would drop tomorrow, because a lot of people do not like CNN like that. CNN wouldn't even get the views on YouTube they get if they wasn't pushing their content above everybody else's. Because yes, that is a real thing. They push their content up. They push all these mainstream media channels that you see getting all the views. That is not organic. They're like forcing them to get the views because they're putting them up on the front page. They pushing their content up, because after the Alex Jones thing that happened, because I remember before the Alex Jones thing, CNN was only getting 100 views a video, 200 views, 300 views. I remember it. And then after the Alex Jones thing, and they came up with this, you know, unofficial rule talking about authoritative sources, they pushed all the mainstream media videos up. And then what happened to the independent content creators? Their views went down. See, at first, CNN had to compete with everybody on YouTube, right? And they was losing constantly. Nobody was watching their crap. But after that, they had to basically, let's call it what it is. You had to cheat for you to get views. And that's why they're getting views now. But they're not beating Fox News. They're not. A lot of people would not have CNN on their TV. I promise you that. So no, Byron, CNN is getting money by default. They're like, oh, well, you just got to have CNN. No, you don't have to have it. I think it should be a movement with cable companies to say, hey, which news networks do you want on your bill? You know, let's say he talked about it costs you $1. I promise you, people are like, oh, no, I don't want to pay $1 CNN or $2 CNN. No, I'll take them off of there.
And if we had done that, the Black News Channel would not have filed bankruptcy. And the tragedy is that I bought it out of bankruptcy.
Right. You own brands like the Weather Channel. In the 30 seconds I have left, is the future of these channels all streaming, or is it all of the above?
I think it's additive. I don't think anything will replace the other. I think we will have streaming, we'll have over-the-air broadcast, we will have cable, and that's what's happening with the Griot. It's streaming, it's over the air, it's broadcasting, and we have the Weather Channel direct to the consumer. So you can go and just get the Weather Channel for $2.99 a month direct to the consumer. Everything's additive. We launched the Weather Channel in Espanol, the first and only 24-hour Spanish language network focused on weather, because this is life-saving information. Because the weather, climate change, and global warming, it's the greatest.
No, I give Byron that. That was very smart to launch the Weather Channel in Spanish, because he's cornering a big market. So yeah, that's not that smart of him. I give him that.
Threat to humankind on planet Earth, and we have to get ahead of it and talk about it. And thank goodness for this climate bill,
a former owner of the Weather Channel was the former owner of the Weather Channel was a climate denier, and now you own the Weather Channel and you know the truth about the climate. Byron, thank you so much for coming on. Good.
All right, so that was Byron Allen. Wanted to make sure I play that in its entirety for the most part. But, you know, this media business, like I said, you have to understand, no matter what business you go into in America, it is going to be controlled or affected by them folks. And the same thing with the media business. You know, now we see people like, you know, different immigrant people come in owning online platforms like the Shade Room and different platforms like that. But what could we do to change some of this? You say, well, these people shouldn't be affecting us to where we have to make decisions in this manner. Well, I mean, the best thing you can do is support people that you like. You know, and let's just call it what it is. You got to support them financially as well. Just watching them is a way online, but they can affect the algorithms. How many times have you said, some of you have said, I've been unsubscribed to different channels that I like. I didn't get no notifications. These people play games. They play games for real. So when people have like websites, and the reason why at least our website is set up where you have to pay a subscription is because of that. We would not be generating no revenue on our website at all if we didn't have at least a subscription model. Now, I would love for it to be completely free, but I would have to have like an advertising thing where you playing ads or something before the content, and making a deal like that. And I would love for it to go completely free, right? Sure, you talking about being on television. Of course, I would have to have some infrastructure first for that can even happen or even work. But what Byron Allen is saying is basically, since you're not on TV doing what you're doing, you know what I'm saying? Well, people got a choice. Well, don't have a choice like CNN, and that's why you're not collecting, a certain amounts of money. But this media business is just like I say, it's tough, it's cutthroat. And once again, I'm going to say this. It is very hard in America to do things the way y'all thinking it should be done, because they will try to shut you out or make it very difficult for you. I'm just being just 100, just my experience. Like I said before, in the continent of Africa, it's so much easier to do media. It's so much easier to talk to certain people in spaces. Like I said, I guarantee you, I could probably get on TV in the African nation a whole lot faster than TV in America. The only reason I don't push that as of yet is because I don't have the infrastructure. If they say, okay, you can be on this network 24 hours, the only thing I could probably do at this level is produce, either a daily show or a weekly show for a network. But as a 24-hour, no, I'm not at that level yet. But I just know it would be easier for me to do it over there than it would be here. Just be honest with you, because all the BS and the raccooning you got to do to get on TV here in America. And I'm not just for the raccooning like that. I'm not about to be ducking my head. I'm not about to be, kissing up to these people. I'm just not about to do it. So, and that's just my principles that won't let me do it. And then I look at it like this: what's your legacy at the end of the day? If people say, man, that dude there, he go up there with them folks and he just went on here and sold out just so he can get on TV. You really don't want that kind of message. Cause what kind of way that is to your kids? Your kids gonna know you sold out. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that means more to me than anything else. It's like my kids knowing I just sold myself out just to get on TV in America. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be me. And if you will invite me on something, want me to do something, I'm not changing. I'm not up here using profane language. I'm not calling people racial slurs. I'm not doing any of that. OK, so you can't say, well, he's out there being toxic, so we can't really have him around. So that's why I said I go at things alone. OK, I do what we do within our team, and I go where I'm invited or go where we're more celebrated. And for me, so far, at least with TV, we're more celebrated on the African continent. America, no. Even my own people in America or have been afraid to even partner or even work with us because we are, as I have been told, a little too black for them. And they're scared because they don't want massa to see, oh, they're working with a person like me. So you're a little too black. And that's, I'm telling you, a lot of black people are on that, folks, right here in America. Even some people that's talking black, they don't really mean that. We talk about the boule and all that. It's not just them. It's not just them at all. When the rubber meets the road, they know they behind the 8 ball too, and they don't want to make massa upset. So when you start hearing people like me talk against the white supremacy and speaking about the race soldiers and calling these people out for what they do our community, they get afraid of that. And that's fine. Once again, I've figured out and discovered that the African continent and just how they just give me love over there, I'll say it, I've got more love over there than any other place I've went to in the world, right? And they're even willing to work with us and our media company and all of that more over there. So I'm like, well, I would say it must be the door that's supposed to be open for us there instead of here in my own country where I pay taxes at and my own, community is at and all of, I'm talking about my ethnic group. I'm gonna say when I say my own community, my particular ethnic group, it just screwed up. But at the same time, once again, I'm not really blaming everybody because not everybody is willing to fall on that sword. Some people understand they behind the 8 ball, so they're going to have to play the game of white supremacy. Now, you may say it's selling out. I view it as a way of selling out. I do. But Now, everybody look at it like that. Some people say, man, I'm not on that principle thing. I'm on here to get my check, like Byron Allen. And you can get a lot of checks, but you're going to have to sell out. You're going to have to talk about LGBT. You're going to have to talk about Democrat. You're going to have to talk about all lives matter, inclusive, women this, all. You got to do it if you want to do things in America. I'm just keeping it real. But thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on the podcast. We greatly appreciate it. Make sure you click that subscribe button. That way you'll know exactly when we post another podcast, and make sure to check the channel, if you're still subscribed. Click the like button. That's very important. So thank you for listening. We'll see you on the next one.